Hi again. If you didn't watch the previous part of this video, my name is Sari and these are my knitting podcast videos, and in the first part of this video I was just showing what I've been knitting and talking about our upcoming summer trip and so on. And this second part of this video is going to be about the questions and answers. So I had this comment box in my Instagram stories yesterday asking you about what you wanted to know. So you had the chance to ask questions, and now I'm going to answer. I have to say I got so many questions. So it's impossible for me to answer all of them in this video, but I got a lot of ideas for upcoming videos and topics that I can talk about. For example, many of you have been asking me about how I choose yarns for a project, but I think that's kind of like a longer topic and I want to get more into it, but I think that I want to prepare for it a bit and so that it's more informal, the video. So that's going to be a topic for another video. Also, I have been promising to show you my yarn stash because I really should go through it and organize everything, and I thought it would be a really nice to show you what I have and what I'm planning to use, and go through if there's something that I don't want to use and I know that I won't use, so maybe have a little giveaway or something like that after. So that's also a topic for another video that I have promised I will be making. But I'll take my phone here and go through the questions that you sent me. So there were, I haven't counted, but there were tens of questions, maybe not 100 questions, but over 50 at least. Quite many of you asked me about my favorite yarn or my favorite yarn brand or fiber content. That varies a bit. It depends on what I'm knitting. I love tweed yarns. That has been like my soft spot for a really long time. I love Brooklyn Tweed's yarns. It was one of my first real yarn crushes, like years ago. I absolutely love their colors because they kind of like look one color, but if you look really closely, there are totally different colors in them. So I love the way they have like these little spots of tweed. And if you haven't checked out their yarns on their website, so the Brooklyn Tweed website, read the colorway descriptions. I think they're so amazing. I love reading the colorway descriptions because they're like these little short stories or almost like poems. I absolutely love the way they describe their colors and the speckles, tweed spots, what do you know, tweed knobs, how they describe the colorways. So I think they're just like pure genius. I love them. What I don't like about Brooklyn Tweed is the yarn is quite brittle, so it doesn't, if you pull it, it breaks really easily. And also, especially for shelter and for loft, it's not very suitable for if you want something that is really like drapey. It's more suitable for things that stay in form. So if you want to have something that if you put it on, it kind of like stays how it is, then that's the yarn for you. But if you want something like really fluid and flowy, summery, then I don't think shelter or loft are very good for that. But the yarn has an amazing stitch definition, so because I love knitting cables, then it's really good for that. And another thing is that it's not very easily available in Finland. So I always have to order it somewhere, and it's quite expensive. So those are the downsides of that yarn. Another yarn that I love is Knitting for Olive. I don't think that's a secret either for you or news for you. I love Knitting for Olive's yarns because I think they have a really good price point. So they are not the cheapest yarns, but I think they are very affordable, and they are organic, ethically made. Their silk is ethically sourced without hurting the silkworms, and they have certificates for that. They have the most beautiful colorways. The shade cards are absolutely beautiful. So I love using Knitting for Olive's yarns because of that, because they're ethical and they are affordable and they're beautiful. I love the colors, so I've been using them quite a lot. So I think those are two of my favorite yarn brands. I love La Bien Amy. I think she makes the most beautiful colorways. They are a bit more pricey, and Finnish dyers, Wool Me Once fibers is one of my favorites, and been lucky to meet Laura, who's behind Wool Me Once, a couple of times. So that's also one of my favorite yarn brands. Fiber content, I prefer using natural fibers. I don't really want to use yarns that have plastic in it, except for socks. I think for socks I can have the 20 to 25% polyamide, because that makes the socks more durable. I don't think it's very ethical to make socks and then they break down really quickly, because at least in Finland we often wear the socks in our winter boots, so they get a lot of wear. So they're not just something that we wear when we sleep, but they need to take a lot of wear. So that's why I like using yarns that have some kind of like plastic content in them for socks. Recently there have been coming more sock yarns that don't have any polyamide or any nylon or something like that in them. Instead they are using, for example, Tencel, and I'm really interested in those, and I have been trying a couple of those already. So if that is something that is durable, then I will most definitely start using more of those rather than those with plastic in them. I like using Finship wool, and that's something that I want to use more, because I also want to support the production of Finship wool, and I hope Finship wool will be soon more readily available for people. It's a bit rough when you first touch it, but when you wear it more, it becomes softer, and I have a really itchy skin, so I love using Finship wool, even though it itches a bit when you put it on, but after you have been wearing it for a bit, then it's really soft and really nice against the skin. I like wearing things that are knitted with cotton and things that are knitted with silk. I don't really like knitting with them, but if I know that the end result is going to be something that I love, then I think I can work with the yarn. I prefer knitting with wool than like plant fibers. I really don't like knitting with linen. I think it's quite rough, at least on its own. But if it's combined with something else, for example, I used the Malabrigo Susura for my Kuutar pullover and had some linen, but it also had, I think, merino wool and silk. Then the combination was really nice. So I don't really have kind of like the favorite fiber content. It totally depends on what I'm knitting. So if I'm knitting something for the winter, then I want to use 100% wool, and I kind of like the more rustic wools, the smooth merinos. But for summer knitting, then that's the totally opposite. I like smooth fibers for summer knitting, so I don't really have a favorite fiber content. Like I said, it depends on what I'm making. So that was the favorite yarns, favorite yarn brands, favorite fiber contents. And also I got a question that what would be a dream collaboration, what yarn brand. I think I'm lucky in that sense that I have been blessed so that I have been working with most of my kind of like idols. La Bien Amy for the Rococo pullover that I just made, so it was a dream collaboration. It's this one with their new Cory worsted base, so I was really happy to work with them. And my long-time dream was to design for Brooklyn Tweed, and I have done that. Last year was, or a year before that, I can't remember. 2 years ago I knitted it. It came out last year. It was the Ponte cardigan. So that one, and also Woolfolk. I have designed for them a couple of times, so that has also been one of my favorite yarn brands and a totally dream come true. So I don't know, I don't really have that kind of like a dream. Of course I want to work with all of those brands again. My long time dream was also to design for the Amirisu magazine, and that has also become reality in the past few years. So I would still love to design something for the Making magazine, but that hasn't become reality yet. I hope I will get to design something for them in the future. I haven't really been sending out submissions lately. I have been wanting to do more of my own work and not do so much things for like things that have deadlines. So maybe when I get back to the point that I want to start sending out submissions. The magazines often have a quite short turnaround time, so the deadlines to knit and make the whole pattern and grade it and set out sample and so on can be very short. So I haven't really been wanting to take on that kind of job. I have been wanting to more do what I want to do. I was talking about idols, so a couple of you asked about my knitwear designer idols. I think my biggest idol is Julie Hoover. I absolutely love her style, her aesthetics. When I still had time to knit other people's patterns, I think Julie Hoover and Michelle Wang are the two designers that I have knitted patterns from the most, so I absolutely love both of them. Unfortunately, I don't think Michelle Wang is designing anymore, but those two. I love Emily Green. I think she has such a great eye for shapes, so I love her work as well. And I think Stephen West is kind of one of my idols. I haven't knitted anything from him, but I think he's so kind of like out there and doing his own thing and so innovative. So I think that is really amazing. It was like kind of like eye-opening for me to see his work when I realized knitting can also be this. So it's not just the set shape of sock that we learned when we were kids, or a basic pullover, but you can do anything, and you can use any colors, and you can do any kind of shapes, and you can even like the most basic thing as a hat, you can like come up with your own shape for the hat. And I love the way he styles everything for his photos, and he's like the whole package. And so those are kind of my knitting idols. And another question was about whether I have like work knitting and free time knitting. I would love to get back to the point where I would still have time to knit other people's patterns, because I think it's a good thing to knit other people's patterns as well, because you always learn something new. And if you're starting out, it's a good thing to read other people's patterns, not in the sense that you copy them, not that you copy somebody else's pattern, but to see what in the pattern is good and what you would like to improve, and find all those things. So have them for like reference to see what is good, what is bad, what you need to work on, and so on, to become better. Because for me, knitwear designing, it's not just about the design, it's not just about getting like a really amazing new pullover or something like that. It's also about writing a really great pattern. So you need it's not enough that the sweater looks really great. You have to be able to write the patterns so that the person who is knitting for the pattern can create a similar pullover, so that the end result for them is the same as for you. So that's kind of like the hard part, and that's something that I've been thinking about a lot during the past half year or so, is kind of like this, whether my work is actually like writing patterns or whether it's designing, because you can do both, but it's kind of not the same thing. It's not this kind of like fashion design or art to just design something really beautiful, but you also need to produce a really good pattern. So that's why I think it's really important to see what other people are making and see their patterns and how they write them, so that you can also become better at it. But I haven't really had time to knit anybody else's patterns for the longest time. I used to knit patterns from others a lot. Then I became a test knitter. I test knitted a lot, and I would still love to go back to test knitting, because I think that would be like, I could also give something back. I could give feedback to people on the patterns and so on, help somebody else create a really nice pattern. For me, I think at this moment I mostly just knit my own patterns, or not mostly, I solely just knit my own patterns, so I don't have time to knit anybody else's patterns. And sometimes I feel that I would just love to knit something that is just for me. But if I show that on Instagram, then everybody starts to immediately ask about where's the pattern, and are you going to write the pattern, and some people might even go back to a design that I have knitted a few years ago, and I never wrote a pattern to, and ask if there's a pattern for that. So kind of it's really hard for me to knit something and not write the pattern, because everybody is always expecting that everything I make will eventually become a pattern, and sometimes I would just love to knit something and without the pressure of it becoming a pattern. And it's really hard to just knit something and then try to trace back your steps and try to write a pattern and grade it. It's easier to do it the other way around, that you first have the design idea and you do all the grading math and basic outline for the pattern, so that you see that it works for all sizes. And you don't have to kind of like do this detective work and try to think what was I thinking there, and what have I done here, and how many stitches did I increase or decrease or cast on or so on, how many pattern repeats did I make. If you can read your knitting, then everything, you can figure everything out, but it takes a lot of time, so it's easier to do it the other way around. And that's why I don't really like just nowadays just start to knit something and then think that maybe this will become a pattern eventually, or maybe not. So it's better to do the groundwork first and then start knitting. I think I have to check what else you have been asking. Quite a lot of questions. Quite many of you asked where I find inspiration for my designs. This is always really hard. It's really hard to say where you find inspiration, because I think visual people find inspiration everywhere. Most obvious places are fashion magazines, going to shops and seeing what kind of knitwear there are, seeing what people are wearing on the streets, Pinterest, Instagram, movies, seeing what kind of knitwear everybody is wearing, what colors they are using, what's the sleeve length that they have, is the, for example, cardigan cropped or long, and stuff like that. If you start looking around, you can start seeing different trends that are coming, and maybe you want to use those trends. I like looking at different stitch patterns on Pinterest, and sometimes I immediately, when I see a stitch pattern, I immediately know that okay, I want to use this stitch pattern for a pair of socks, or this would be amazing for a children's sweater or something like that. What inspires me a lot are colors. Like I said, I'm a very visual person. I love colors. I love color combinations. I often get inspired by a color, by the mood of that color, how that color makes me feel. Then I start to think whether I see the color as like fluffy mohair, or is it something sleek and smooth, and if it wants to be lace, or if it wants to be gables, and if I see that color as something that I want to wrap into, or if it's more for like summer top, that it's more flowy. So that's something that inspires me. I get inspired by architecture a lot. If you walk around, and especially old buildings, there are a lot of little designs, design elements, carvings, and so on. Those inspire me a lot. Often I get inspired by kind of like my own wardrobe. I'm not saying that I have like this amazing wardrobe, but most of my knitting, this also gets me to the next question about styling. Somebody asked how to style my knitwear. I think a pivotal moment for me in my knitting was when I actually started to think what I love to wear. This was actually when I was pregnant and I didn't fit into my clothes anymore, and I started to go through my wardrobe and going through everything I had and thinking if this is something that I want to wear in 9 months when I fit into that again, or if it's something that I don't want to wear anymore. So actually, when I was pregnant, I realized how few clothing items I actually need, and how I always reach for those same basic things and same basic colors. Before that, I had like a lot of colors in my wardrobe, and I actually realized that I like kind of like a really muted palette of clothes or colors. And then I started to bring that color palette into my knitting. So almost everything that I have knitted myself, they go really well together. So that helps me to mix and match my knitting patterns, or my knitted items, and it's really easy to wear them together, or buy just one skirt, and a lot of my pullovers and t-shirts go with that skirt. So trying to find that color palette that you love. Back at the time when I was pregnant, I was really into this capsule wardrobe idea, so I read quite a lot about that, and I chose like these a few core colors for myself, of course black, white and gray, and then like this spicy brown, like a cinnamon brown or caramel brown, like this warm spicy brown color, different shades of it. Then I chose really like dusty blush pink, like the one that I'm wearing at the moment, forest green, and then I love like this border, like really dark red, like wine red, but I don't really have that in my wardrobe because I haven't really found that color that much. But if you start to think what I've been knitting lately and what I have in my wardrobe, it's exactly those colors. It's different shades of caramel brown, tobacco brown, cinnamon brown, so on, like rusty colors, different shades of dark green and different shades of blush, and also a new color that has come into my wardrobe is like a terracotta reddish brownish red. So, but I think that goes really nicely with the color palette. So I still love all the colors, but I just know that I'm most comfortable using these colors. So that's why I'm kind of like sticking it, and it makes wearing stuff a lot easier. Also, another thing from the capsule wardrobe is to go through your clothes and think what you love to wear. What is your favorite things to wear? What are the ones that you keep reaching out for? Looking at the silhouette from those, and then trying to find the same silhouette for everything else that you have. For example, for cardigans, I like this boxy drop shoulder cardigans, kind of cropped. I think they are really nice with V-neck. I like using turtleneck pullovers, especially in the winter because it's really cold in Finland. I'm always feeling cold, and I think they are really effortless because you don't really have to think about anything else that you wear with them. So you just have like a great pair of jeans or a pleated skirt, and then you have the turtleneck sweater, and that's it. You don't have to think anything what you are going to wear underneath it, or if you want to wear jewelry or something like that. It's a great outfit on itself. So I think for me, I'm always trying to go back to the basics. I don't want to spend a lot of time dressing up. I don't really want to think that much what I have on, so I'm trying to find the great basic items to my wardrobe, like I said, the great basic black jeans, the great basic pleated skirt, white jeans or white slacks or something like that, and then it's easy to combine different knitted items with them. I often feel like I'm quite a safe dresser, but at least I have like these interesting knitwears to keep my outfits somewhat interesting and not too basic. If I wasn't knitting, I would probably just be wearing like a white t-shirt and black jeans all the time. I'm kind of like that kind of girl. But yeah, that's my tip for styling your knitwear. Find the colors that you love the most and use them. Buy the very good basic things for your wardrobe that it's easy to combine your knitwear with. And I think, yeah, I don't really have any other tips. Somebody asked me also why I mostly knit pullovers and not cardigans. That's mostly because I prefer wearing pullovers to cardigans, because if you have a cardigan, then you have to think what you have under the cardigan, so there has to be something beneath it, and that means you have to think about what you're wearing more than just throwing on the pullover, and that's it. Also, cardigans require more math, and especially when you're grading, it's different if you're making something just for you because you know your own body measurements. But there are a lot of different body shapes, and people carry their weight in different places. And because cardigans have the buttons at the front, then you have to think about that you have enough fabric on the front so that the bottom band will go straight, because I think I hate it when the cardigans start to if it's too small, then the bottom band doesn't stay straight and it doesn't look very pretty, and the bottom starts to draw and it goes all wavy and crooked. So as a knitwear designer, to have the straight bottom band for all the body shapes, it's really hard. So kind of like taking the easy way out to be quite honest, and just making sweaters, and also because I prefer wearing sweaters to cardigans. There were still a lot of other questions, but there's I don't have any more time. My boys are at the barber shop at the moment. I just have the time to film while they are away, and they're coming back home very soon. So I will just answer one more set of questions. So a couple of you asked about my knitting plans for the autumn. That includes the Billy sweater that so many of you asked about, and also what was I thinking? there was one question that I was going to answer in this same thing. Well, it comes back to me there, or if I can't remember, then I will answer that in a future video. So many of you asked about how it feels like to be a self-employed knitwear designer, if there have been any surprises, how long it took for me to make this financially so that I could knit my day job. But I will answer them in my next video because I think that's a longer topic as well. But for autumn, I'm already planning my autumn knits. At the moment I've been debating. It's really hot here in Finland at the moment. Today is July 1st, so it's still so summer, and at this point I should start to make autumn and winter stuff, and I really don't want to pick all those like heavy yarns at the moment. That is why I haven't been knitting the Billy sweater. I haven't finished it, and I should just finish it very soon so I could get it for test knitting. But it's knitted in worsted weight yarn with cables, so it's so hot, and I haven't felt like touching it, so it's still missing a sleeve and a half, and I know I should just finish it. So many of you have been asking about it, but it's coming very soon. But I don't think anybody else wants to knit the Billy sweater in worsted weight yarn with full of cables at this time of the year. So let's just keep knitting summer stuff for a little while longer, because these days are so few and they are going so fast, and we still have the whole winter to knit winter stuff. So I kind of want to cast on a couple of summer tops just because it's summer and just because I want to knit them and I want to wear them. And I know as a designer wise it's not that great idea to start making summer top patterns, because it takes me a few weeks to finish it, then I have to have it test knitted. So the patterns come out earliest in August, which is already, at least in Finland, kind of like the end of the season, and everybody's already looking forward to winter. But the summer top ideas that I have are such that maybe you could wear them under a blazer or a white collared shirt for the office, and in that way get a little bit more aware of them, rather than just for this very short summertime. Yeah, but I'm already planning the next season, so the fall season. I just haven't, like I said, it's so hot here at the moment, I haven't wanted to start working on those patterns yet. But I have really great ideas. I'm going back to cables. I have been feeling like knitting more of the style of the Billy sweater, so I have ideas and already also yarns ready for a couple of really nice cabled pullovers and a cabled cardigan. So I'm going to make a cardigan, and that's what I'm going to do, like kind of like these like classics, timeless classics, because I like timeless classics. It takes time to knit, so I want the things that I knit to be things that I can wear for a longer time. I have a few really great collaborations coming out, but I think you have still wait a bit longer for me to talk more about those. I like making plans. I like making mood boards and ideas, lists what I'm going to make, but because one of the reasons why I became self-employed was that I could do whatever I want. So I want more of that. I want more of the joy of working on what inspires you, and going with the flow, and not being bound to any like outer restrictions. So at least for now, I kind of like want to enjoy more about the fact that I can do whatever I want and make whatever I want. But that's everything for today's episode, and when I start filming the next episode, I think I will post a similar question and answer box, because I think this was so nice to answer your questions and keep this more interactive and talk about the things that you want me to talk about and what you want to hear. Thanks for watching. If you like my videos, please remember to subscribe to my channel, and you will always get notified when I put out a new video. See you after our Eastern Finland road trip. I will try to film a little pieces, snippets from the trip, and I think I will show them to you in my next video. Bye!